Is China in talks with Elon Musk to buy TikTok so that it can evade the ban in the US? Or will one of Trump's other bestie billionaires purchase the app? Join me as we find out in this week's episode of Real Villains of DC, Love is Blind, and Unhinged, TikTok ban edition. These are the days of our lives. Earlier today, Bloomberg News reported that ByteDance, TikTok's parent company, was in talks with Elon Musk to purchase the app, and I felt like you needed to have the same level of heart attack time that I did when I read that headline. But don't fear. TikTok says it is pure fiction. Actually, I believe the full quote was, "We can't be expected to comment on something that is pure fiction," when reporters asked about the anonymous sources that Bloomberg cited to when referencing Elon Musk's potential buyout of the app. I love how sassy TikTok is. They really do match our energy, like just zero given. It's not really been all doomsday over here on my channel about the banning of TikTok because ultimately I don't think they'll ban it. And I have some reasons for that, which we'll talk about, but a lot of it's just vibes. I do agree with Aaron Bailey Law's account of this. You should go watch the video. I think it's really well done and explains all of the justices' interpretations after they had oral arguments last week. Spot on. I think a big indicator is the fact that Trump has reversed on his position regarding TikTok, mostly because of his billionaire bestie that has invested in it, Jeff Yass. Also did a video on that if you're curious. Because listen, why control the flow of information when you can also make money off of people while you're doing it? Is TikTok a security threat? I mean, maybe. There's a tinge of honesty in everything that politicians say, but they usually exploit that to get what they want. And in this case, it's to control the flow of information and also make money. I mean, what could be more capitalism meets fascism than that? But some of the politicians are out there fighting the good fight, like Representative Ro Khanna that got up in front of Congress today and stressed the fact that millions of Americans use this app for their livelihood and would be out of millions of dollars if they banned the app altogether. Senator Ed Markey plans to introduce legislation that would delay the ban 270 days, giving TikTok additional time to find a U.S. buyer, although its company ByteDance has said we don't plan to sell it. But since our country and its original colonizers never learned the C is for consent lesson, we're just going to go ahead and ignore that and continue pushing on through with our plans to have somebody else buy your app that you don't want to sell. Ironically, Senator Ed Markey has consistently talked about the dangers of banning TikTok, but he himself voted for the TikTok ban, along with 78 other senators. If you scroll back a few videos, I covered this and I made a mistake and then had to update the video. But there is a video on YouTube that has both sets, the senators and the representatives who voted against the TikTok ban but are still using the app. There's plenty of people who have done videos like that, so you can find them anywhere. But in it, I talked about the fact that it was combined with this humanitarian aid bill that gave funds to both Ukraine and Israel, but there was a big time crunch. Like, there wasn't even time for debate on the floor. These things were sandwiched together and it was basically all or nothing. And once again, Democrats find themselves in a super awkward, difficult position by their own making. Because when they voted for the TikTok ban in order to get the humanitarian aid package, what they also did was open the floodgates for a far-right conservative billionaire to purchase the app, take the algorithm, and just it every way to Sunday. People like Kevin O'Leary, who we've seen on Shark Tank, but I guess cozies up to Trump at Mar-a-Lago. And that sucks because he's real interested in this app. And I don't know if you've been on Twitter since Elon Musk bought it, but yeah, like I'd rather drop ship my DNA to the leaders of China and sign up for their Red Note and whatever other app is offered by the People's Republic of China, rather than set foot in a TikTok space that is very clearly meant to be the TikTok version of Elon Musk's Twitter. No, thank you. In conclusion, I think this news was meant to make the other news more palatable. People are now desperate for TikTok. They just want to see anybody buy it. You throw out the name Elon Musk and people are like, well, maybe, you know what? Red Note's looking really great. But then you put the Shark Tank guy in front of us and we're like, well, I mean, he's not Elon Musk, so maybe. Anyway, I think we're going to see the Supreme Court grant a delay so that TikTok has time to figure out what it's going to do, which is I guess whatever we force it to do if we're continuing on with our reputation. But please don't let that dissuade you from making all of the gorgeous content that you're making between you and your Chinese spies. I love that so much.